Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create website screenshot service with JavaScript and Node.js without using any external APIs. So here, for example, we have apple.com, but I can change it to, for example, reddit.com, enter, and here it is. Now, for example, facebook.com, enter, and here it is. Alright, so now let's jump into the code. Alright, so this will be a Node.js app. So first thing we need to do is to create a starting point, and for me it will be in this new directory a file called, let's call this one server.js. Okay, and here we have it. Now we need to set up a server, so I will use a express here. So yarn add express in my terminal. All right, now I can use it here. So const express equals require express. And now I can define my app. So const app equals express. Now let's tell our app to listen on port, let's say 4000. And let's test if it works. So app get, and let's say that on the home page, let's get request and response. And let's just send response, send test. All right, now let's start our app. So node-mon and server.js. And it's running. Let's test it here. Localhost 4000, and it works. All right, so now we want to display some HTML, and we don't want to put it here as a string, but let's use a template system. So to do this, I will add my favorite EJS. So yarn add EJS. Let's install this one. And then I need to define that our app will be using it. So app set, and here will be view engine and not Jade, but EJS, and app set. And also I need to define where our view file will be located. So views, and let's say it will be inside views. All right. So here inside my project directory, I can create a new directory called views, and here inside let's create, for example, index.ejs. And all right, and here I will put some HTML file. So I will use this snippet, and I will remove this part. Right, so now let's post test EJS and back to our server.js. And here, instead of sending test, let's do return and response render index. All right, now let's test it, and it works. It returns test EJS. All right, so now inside our index EJS, we need to place a simple form with input button to tell what kind of website we want to screenshot, and then a image to place it somewhere on the website. So I will remove this, and let's put everything inside the article just to shape everything. And now a form, and here I will get rid of this, and here inside let's just do an input for the website URL. So this one will be type URL. Let's give it a name that will be also URL, and a placeholder like, for example, https google.com, and here a button that will be a type submit with that will say screenshot. All right, now if we refresh, we have the input and the button, but the thing is that I don't like this refreshing, so I will start browser sync here. So every time I change something in the view file, it will refresh the website. So to use browser sync, I just do browser sync and proxy, because we want to proxy this localhost 4000. So it's HTTP localhost 4000, and I want to watch files that are inside views and all files here. Enter. I forgot to start here on the beginning. All right, and now it started on port 3000 here. and opened a new tab for us. So we can close this one. And now if I change something, let's say screenshot with 3 those, and you see it's automatically updated. All right. So now the most important part. When I click this button, I want to get an image somewhere here with this website that I put the URL here. So how to do this? Let's say that if we submit our form, we want to call our API to do a print screen of a website and to display image somewhere here. So let's do it here. So inside the form, let's do onSubmit. Let's make a function that will be called the screenshot, and here we'll just also return false. So the onSubmit will not call the default behavior. Right, but this function is undefined for now. So let's do here inside our body, let's do script, and here let's define a function do screenshot. And here what do we want to do? We want to get URL first, so from this input. So let's do const URL equals, and now let's do document query selector, and here we just want to get an input. We have only one input, so it doesn't matter, and we don't need the element, we just need the value of this input. All right, so we have the URL. What next? If URL is empty, so no URL, then we just return nothing, so the function stops here. Or else we want to call our API and place an image somewhere here. So let's maybe put an image below the form image tag. We don't have any source yet, and alt text alternative text will be your screenshot. And now when someone clicks this button, we want to first hide this image, because for now it will just say your screenshot here with a broken image because it has no source. So let's get this image get hidden. So let's do const image, and now let's get this element of img. So to get this, let's do document query selector, same as we did for the input, and here just img because we have only one image on this page. And now when someone clicks this button, we want to hide this image. So let's do img style display none. Let's see if it works. If we type something here and screenshot, oops, it needs to be a valid link. So let's try with google.com, screenshot, the image is hidden. All right, now what do we want to do? We want to change the source of the image to our screenshot. So let's do img source equals to, and let's say that the source to our image will be API endpoint to /screenshot, and then URL here as a query parameter. So URL equals, and here we need to encode URI component with URL here inside. The path to the image is /screenshot and then a param with URL and the URL that we have inside our input. All right, what else do we want to do? We want to show the image because it's hidden, as you can see here. So we can show it directly here, or we can do image on load, and this is a function. So let's do like this. This is an arrow function. And when image is loaded, let's show it. So image style display, and let's say block. Right, let's just add some style so it will be hidden by default. Style display none. Okay, now it's hidden. Okay, so now we need to fix our endpoint /screenshot, so we'll get the image from this endpoint. So back to our server.js. And here, as simple as that, app get /screenshot request and response. Right, and here we do a print screen of a website, and we have URL to the website that we want to make screenshot of. So let's do const URL, and let's get this URL first. So your URL is actually inside request as a query parameter called URL. Now, when we have our URL, we want to open a Chrome browser, go to this URL, make a print screen, and return this as an image. All right, so to do this, we need to install Puppeteer with Chrome. So I will open new terminal here and let's do yarn add Puppeteer. And let's require it here. So const Puppeteer equals require Puppeteer. Right, now we can use it here. So let's do const browser equals await Puppeteer launch. Okay, but now the problem is that this function becomes async, but we don't define it here. So let's add async here. Now it's much better. Now we need to open a new tab. So let's do const page equals await browser new page. Now we need to go to this URL. So await page go to and URL here. What next? We want to also make a specific size of the window. So let's do await page set viewport before we visit the link. So let's say that width will be 1280 and height will be 720. Now we go to this URL and let's wait an extra second or two. So page wait for timeout. So I'll add 1.5 seconds. So it's 1500 milliseconds. Now, so I'm doing this so images can load and stuff like this. Right now, after this, we want to make a screenshot of the website. So let's do await and now page screenshot. Yes, simple as that. And this thing returns a buffer. So a buffer to our image. And we can put it as a, we can put it inside the file, or we can just return it as an, base 64 PNG. And I will do this, I will just return this image into the browser. So to do this, I will do response. And now we need to set some headers. So the browser will understand that this is an image inside this response. So header, and here content type will be an image of PNG. We could change the PNG to JPEG here as a parameter, but it doesn't matter for now. So now response, we want to say that to the browser to display the image and not download it, and also some file name and stuff. So another header, content disposition, and instead of attachment, if we leave it as attachment, it will download the file, and we want to display it instead, so it will be inline. And here file name, let's just do screenshot.png. And now the last thing, as you can see, this buffer variable is not used. We just need to return it. So return response, and we need to send it. Send this buffer, send buffer like this. All right, so now our screenshot endpoint should work. So let's test it. So here, for example, let's do HTTPS and let's test youtube.com. Enter, and it works. The CSS, we have no CSS to this page, but it works. Let's test with reddit.com. It works too. Apple, it works. Now let's fix some CSS for this website so it will look better. So in order to do this, we need to place a CSS file somewhere. So let's say that we will have a public directory here, and inside let's have a CSS directory, and inside let's have just styles.css. So now let's just do some basic reset, margin 0 on all elements, same with padding, and box sizing border box. But this padding didn't disappear because we are not using these styles inside our HTML. But to do this, we need to tell first our server to make those files public. And to do this, I will need to add app use, and here inside we need to do express static, and now just public, and let's see if it works. If I open this CSS styles.css, it works, right? So now I can use it inside my index.js. Here, link CSS styles CSS. Now our style CSS works, so we can add some more styles here. All right, so as you remember, we have everything inside article, so we can do some basic margin, let's say 50 pixels from the top and the bottom. Let's add maybe also some padding of, I don't know, 20 pixels. And as you can see, it didn't refresh for us. This is because our browser sync is not watching for changes inside CSS files, only inside views files, but we can add it here inside public CSS, everything here, enter. All right, so now I can close this one. And now let's see if I change this to 120. Yeah, it works. It refreshes for me. I will just decrease this margin to 20. Yeah. All right, so now let's see how it looks like with screenshots. HTTPS reddit.com, enter. So this image is too big, so let's make it smaller. So we have only one image, so we can do just image, and now the max width will be 100%, so it fits the page. Now what else do we want to do? We want to add some margin from the top, so let's do margin top, let's say 10 pixels or maybe 20. Yeah, like this. Now let's fix some colors and this input and this button. So here let's do body, and I will add some background color, a dark one, 1, 2, 3. And now let's fix our input. So let's do input, because we have only one input, so we can style all the inputs here. So our input will have width of 100%, and we want to make it like cool, so input will be on the left side and screenshot button will be on the right side. So we have our form that contains both input and the button. So let's do display, but not block, but flex. So now it changes that it has both the input and the button on the same line. Now let's add some styling to our form. So add border, let's say 4 pixels, and a blue color. I have prepared 26C, 4 pixels. I forgot solid. Yeah, that's better. Now border radius of, let's say, 25 pixels. All right, now we need to style our input and the button. So background color for the input will be transparent, but the color of the text inside will be white. Yeah, and we need to get rid of the border, so border will be 0. And now we also need some padding from the left, so we'll have some space here. So let's do padding, and here let's do maybe 10 pixels from the top and the bottom, and from the sides let's do 15 pixels. And now we don't want this weird chrome border when we focus on our input. So let's add input focus outline 0. So now when I click inside the input, I don't get this weird chrome border. All right, now we need to cut the corners of our button. So I will just go to my form and add overflow hidden. So everything outside the form will be hidden. And now maybe let's style our button. So button background color will be the same as we have our border here. So this one, copy, paste. Now let's get rid of the border, so border 0, and let's add some padding of 15 pixels on the sides and 10 pixels from the top and the bottom. And now let's make the button color, text color white, so color white, and here we have it. Now let's test it again. Let's try with android.com, enter, it works. What else can we test? stackoverflow.com, enter, it works. And we can save those images or make an API of this, wherever you want to do with it. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Have a nice day and see you in the next one.